So, I've been seeing more and more videos and more stuff online about Caitlin Clark potentially being traded from the Indiana Fever. I'm going to be talking about the validity of these rumors. Do I think they're going to happen? And if it is to happen, what specific scenarios need to take place? And again, before we get on to it, thank you guys so much for 25,000 subscribers. We are, again, no subscriber goals anytime soon. Just thank you guys. 25.1k would be incredible by the end of the day. But we got to talk about Caitlin Clark and her with the Indiana Fever. So, right now, is Caitlin Clark happy in the Fever? Yeah, she's happy in Indiana. She likes that she's in Indiana to start her pro career. She's near her boyfriend. She's happy out with that. And she's happy to be playing with Leah Boston. It seems like the team, like she gets on with the team. It seems like she gets on well with Lexi Hull, with Kayu Samuelson. Her and Erica Wheeler are quite close. So it does seem like it's a not terrible situation for her as a rookie. And would the Indiana Fever trade her for any package? No. There's the only scenario that the Indiana Fever would ever make a trade is if, let's just say hypothetically, Phoenix, Taurasi, and Griner get injured at the Olympics. Phoenix end up in the lottery. They don't win a game for the rest of the way. They end up in the lottery. And we then see a situation where, because they won 9 games last year, where they end up with the number 1 overall pick and get Paige. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Liberty get their pick. I don't know how true that is, but I'm pretty sure the Liberty get the Phoenix Mercury's pick. So the only trade where I would ever give up like a situation or like give her up in is if it's something like Paige Beckers. So you've got your like player to bring in to fill seats. It's Paige Beckers and let's just say Jonquel Jones. Paige Beckers and Jonquel Jones for Caitlin Clark. It's not going to happen, but that would be like the only trade where I'd be like, there's almost even value given because there's not one player. I'm telling you, I think the Indiana Fever would do it, but I'm not entirely sure if Aja Wilson for Caitlin Clark is an even value trade. I think for specific teams, it is, but I don't think that I don't think Aja Wilson for Caitlin Clark helps the Fever. Ironically, I don't think it helps the Aces either. But there's no value you can get that will help both sides. The only players with a similar value to her are going to be big, so there's not going to be that type of trade. But as I've said plenty of times, obviously, I'd say from start to finish of All-Star Weekend, there were teams getting in her ear. We don't know what way the collective bargaining agreement is going to be, and I can see it. Like, whatever happens when it comes to the rookie contracts, one thing that's for sure is she's not going to be cored to Indiana for 10 years. That's just not going to happen. There's a near 0% chance of that happening. Like, if Satu, after her 5th year in the league, if Satu is an unrestricted free agent, you better believe Caitlin Clark is not going to be tied down to Indiana for more than 4 or 5 years. And who knows what way the collective bargaining agreement is going to be. The collective bargaining agreement is probably going to give a bit more power to the players. The coring rule is almost certainly going to be eradicated. A restricted free agency is probably still going to be a thing. But I would say the coring rule is going to be eradicated. I would also say the rosters up to 15 is more than likely going to happen too. But when it comes to Caitlin Clark, people saying she likes being Indiana. She likes winning more than anything else. And I think she's actually not in a bad situation as far as like the off the court stuff right now. She's not in a big city. There's no major pressure on her to win right now. She's in Indiana. She's near enough to her family. Obviously, her boyfriend lives in the city as well, where he works for the Pacers. And it's not the worst team as far as training facilities goes. The only thing is that Caitlin Clark has never not won her life. And it's not about winning championships. Like, Indiana don't need to win a championship in 3 years for her to ask out. They just need to be a winning franchise. They need to show that they're making moves, or at least bring players that will fit Caitlin Clark's style and will play the way she wants to play. And it's like, it's also about who you keep and who you let go. It's like, you can't, you have to, at the end of 2 years, or even at the end of this year, even just look to move on from a Damaris Dantas, who's a good player, doesn't fit. Look, like you could trade Damaris Dantas to another team and get someone whose contracts match. Let's just say hypothetically, the Las Vegas Aces. If you want a contract match for match, Megan Gustafson's contract is in near match. She doesn't play much for Las Vegas, and I actually think with the way they play basketball, a Damaris Dantas could be great. If you are, I would even do that right now. I would do that today if I'm Lynn Dunn. I'm calling up the GM of Las Vegas and going, look, will you make a Gustafson for Dantas trade? And if the answer is yes, you have now found a backup big who plays almost like Temi, who can run up and down, who's not a really slow down back to the basket big, who could play, again, we don't know about Temi's health, but can play at that power forward position. And also, she's not playing much for the Aces, so it's not like she's going to expect major minutes. You got to keep Alexi Hull. You're going to, obviously, she's there. She's still going to be there on a rookie deal. You keep players like that. You move on from Erica Wheeler. So you got to just, you find a way of getting someone that fits for an Alyssa Smith. Again, you probably look to trade an Alyssa Smith for, I don't know, let's just say you're at pick number 7 in the draft. And I think Indiana actually tipped to have number 7. Let's just say it's New York Liberty. Let's just say maybe you're at pick number 8, Anissa Morrow's still on the board, or Dominique Malonga's still on the board, and you call New York and say you want Sonia Citron there. You want Sonia Citron with number 7 pick, and that's yours. You go and call New York, who have Phoenix's pick, and just go, we'll give you the Alyssa Smith for the 8 pick. Go and take Malonga. A 6'6" runner? That's all you need. You just need to be making those moves. And signing those type of players will at least show Caitlin Clark the team serious. But I think if they don't have a winning record for 3 years, she's going to ask out. I would say it would be a shock if a person who likes to win as much as Caitlin Clark does is not so frustrated about having a sub 500 record for 3 straight years that they don't want to ask out. Like, players will not stay in incompetent franchises. And a player like Caitlin Clark will not stay in an incompetent franchise. I think you're seeing with Victor Wembanyama, he was annoyed at how much San Antonio lost last year. And you can tell, Caitlin Clark, no matter how many records she's breaking, she was pissed at the end of the game that she broke the record in assists because they lost. She was pissed. She broke the all-time assist record and was pissed. So, you can tell she wants to win. The only way she gets traded from Indiana is if she wants out. And the only way she wants out, because everything off the court is suited for a perfect, is if the Indiana Fever mess up by not building around Caitlin Clark. If Lynn Dunn is just picking players that she likes that she think would have fit with, I don't know, Tamika Catching's team 12 years ago, that won with Indiana. If they keep taking players that do not fit how Caitlin Clark wants to play, and then you're seeing Christy Sides is still the coach, and you're seeing her try to coach between 2 different styles of basketball when Caitlin Clark's on the floor and trying to run through Aaliyah Boston, and sometimes she's telling Caitlin Clark to not run, and then suddenly she runs the 4th quarter and wins the game by herself, and all the mad stuff that's happening this year. I think it's as much fault of Lynn Dunn as it is Christy Sides, because I think that if Christy Sides just had a team of runners in Aaliyah Boston, she would say, okay, yeah, we're running. But there are so many players in the team that aren't able to keep, not even so many players, there are players in the team that aren't able to keep up with that style who they have to play. So, if Caitlin Clark does request a trade and she wants out, you're probably not going to get as much as you would think for her. Like, you're not going to get as much as if she doesn't. And the only way I can see Indiana trading her is if they're in fear that she's going to want out. I think they're going to get if they're proactive and they think she's going to want out, they might end up trading her. But that's not happening until the CBA. That is not happening until 2026. She's without question playing for Indiana next year, and she is without question going into the offseason in 2026 as an Indiana Fever player. There is a 0% chance that she is not an Indiana Fever player when the TV rights deal starts and when the new CBA is in. It all just depends on how the CBA is and the state the Fever are in. If the Fever are as bad as they are today, and Caitlin Clark makes a huge push or a huge progression in her game, and so does Aaliyah Boston, and they still suck, they'll both ask out. They will both ask out. And unfortunately, it will mean they'll be split up because there's a 0% chance that they'll give up both. The team have to cut their whole roster for that. But that is my opinion on it. She's not getting traded anytime soon anyway. Coming towards the end of that rookie deal, especially with the new CBA, there's going to be something. There's going to be almost certainly a way for her to get out of Indiana after 4 years. With the way the new CBA is, with the way all the money is, with the way free agency. Worst case scenario, there'll be a way for her to get out of Indiana in 5 years. So, can I see them trading her if they know they're going to lose her? Yeah, but that's not happening anytime soon. And she is a guarantee to be still on the roster in 2025. And almost certainly a guarantee to be still there in 2026 as well.